Hello and welcome to Irish Science Fiction. My name is Brian Sexton, and if you've been following Nancy Goodaim the Space Ranger, my apologies for the delay over the last 3 weeks. And that was because I needed a bit of time to write a show called The Last Days of the Lán Tuaisteach, which will be out in the fall or the autumn of 2024, so a few months' time. And in the meantime, Nancy Goodaim is going to resume, and my apologies to both of you for the delay in that. So, a hen, a daw, a tree, let's get stuck back in. Off we go. Spontalager transportation robot FZB3158 bleeped, cycled its processor and accessed its input sensors for a second time. It detected nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, hydrogen sulfide, and one extraterrestrial. Robot FZB3158 had repeated the action of accessing its input sensors because it was expecting to detect 2 extraterrestrials and 2 Jupiterians. The 2 humans robot FZB3158 had expected to detect were European Space Agency Mission Specialist Bart McMorrow and European Space Agency Mission Commander Catherine Bishop, both of whom were among an expansive list of folk it wanted to kill. It could, however, now only detect Catherine Bishop, who, much to the irritation of Spontalager transportation robot FZB3158, was low down on the list of creatures it sought to kill, and as such, her murder would have to wait until after it killed Bart McMorrow, who, as far as robot FZB3158 could tell, had vanished from existence. Neither Bart, nor Owen, nor Francie had disappeared from existence, at least in the traditional sense. All 3 had passed into an area of Sean Lava Feistín known as Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar. What robot FZB3158, or Bart for that matter, did not know was that both Owen and Francie possessed an ability, via their habernacle wands, to travel into Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar, and that they had used that ability to transport Bart and Catherine from the surface of Jupiter and Sean Lava Feistín to the undulatory mists of Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar. And what robot FZB3158 and Bart also did not know was that Francie had unilaterally decided to return Catherine to the surface of Jupiter, which is why robot FZB3158 detected 1 human with its visual input sensor. Now, in theory, Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar is a lower plane of existence, hence the name. But in reality, it is sort of a parallel dimension inhabited by all the mythical creatures deemed too nasty to be accepted by the minds of ordinary Jupiterians, and therefore useless as an imagined deterrent to immoral behaviour. The other slightly less nasty magical entities gifted a creature known as the Fenonceacht full control of Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar, and the honour of managing it, which was not really a gift at all, but the Fenonceacht, being a particularly hard-hearted and nasty sort of creature, quickly learned to enjoy the misery of its circumstances, and settled into a life of torturing the inhabitants of Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar, which, for the most part, were small, round and nasty humanoid Gabalodians, the result of which was a place horrible enough for creatures to want to betray any secrets in order to escape, which was what Owen and Francie were hoping would happen in the case of European Space Agency Mission Specialist Bart McMorrow, and this, they'd hoped, would allow them to learn the secrets of what was to them a mysterious and unknown alternative to magic, known as physics. "Lads, are ye not listening to me? Cathy is after farting herself into another dimension," said Bart. He was standing knee-deep in mist surrounded by a strong smell of hydrogen sulfide and watching what looked to be his colleagues Owen and Francie from the San Laika 2 spacecraft have a bit of a bicker with each other. "When you failed to transmutate the human known as Catherine to the realm of Sean Lava Feistín Uachtar, you reduced by 1/2 our chances of obtaining the secrets of physics," yelled Owen. "How are you to tell me what to do? I reduced our chances of obtaining the secrets of physics by the half that had no chance. And I did it because it now means the human we are left with is more likely to betray its scientific secrets. So what I did was double our chances, which is something you should understand, and something the Saltoon of Phenocius, praise be to his unmotutious wisdom, would be righteously glad had happened," yelled Francie. "Oh yeah? Well, you better be right," snapped Owen. "Or what?" asked Francie. "Or what do you think?" asked Owen. We'd both be righteously ripped asunder by one of the Saltoon's connoncious guards," suggested Francie. "Lads, did ye not hear me? Cathy is after farting herself into another dimension. Can you not smell it? What did ye have for the breakfast back there?" asked Bart. Owen and Francie turned to Bart. Owen made to speak but was distracted by a series of low humanoids bounding through the mist. The humanoids were small, round and angry looking, and about 3 feet tall. They did not stop as they ran chest high in the mist past Owen, Francie and Bart. Something has the Gabelodians spooked, said Owen. Was it the Fenonkiot? Asked Francie. Whisht, replied Owen. Don't say its name. Was it the thing I just said? Asked Francie. How should I know? Are ye sure ye can't smell that? Repeated Bart, before adding, Mind yourself, lads, as several of the Gabelodians bounded close to him. Bart took a long look around. He could not make out the surface of where he was walking, as a knee-high, thick white and green mist covered the landscape. Small mounds with barren skeletal trees set into exposed black rock pierced the murk in patches. The sky was a dirty swirl of clouds. Are ye sure there's a bar around here? It doesn't look like it'll be up to much if there is, asked Bart. How come they make the best beer in the universe up here? He added. I suppose it makes sort of sense. Beer is probably the only thing this place has going for it, he answered to himself. Meanwhile, European Space Agency Mission Commander Catherine Bishop also wondered aloud. Where did everyone go? She asked, to nobody in particular. She was now standing on a barren exposed rock landscape known as the Canclonic Expanse. The only variation in the terrain was the narrow shingle path she was standing on, and a clumsy-looking box-shaped robot that was now standing motionless a short way back along the route she had just travelled with the three others. That was strange, she noted. That was strange she was referring to was the fact that she had suddenly appeared in a dark, mist-covered landscape and just as suddenly disappeared from it again, minus her travelling companions. Hey! She yelled towards the robot. What just happened? Insufficient input data, bleeped the robot. Mission paused, it added. What mission? The mission to destroy all life in the universe. Is that why you were following us? Affirmative. It is necessary that I kill the extraterrestrial known as European Space Agency Mission Specialist Bart McMorrow first. Why? It is not necessary for me to answer, bleeped robot SDR FZB 3158. Do you know where they just went then? Asked Cathy. Negative. Then you're not doing so well at destroying all life in the universe, yelled Catherine. But why Bart? She asked again. Robot FZB 3158 calculated that answering Catherine's question would be the fastest way to terminate their interaction. Such is the way with robots. And it bleeped. European Space Agency Mission Specialist Bart McMorrow was directly responsible for my failure to execute my 187,348 job of transporting dead, skins, whistling spontalagers from the storage fabrication at the treeward side of Breezy McAsbrook's house at the edge of the forest of Proverbs across the sea of uncertainty to McAsbrook's warehouse 3 in the port of Claspabrone, and it is therefore necessary for me to kill him to prevent any issue with trip 187,349. It is also necessary for me to kill all life in the universe to remove the possibility of a similar issue occurring. What? Asked Catherine. Robot FZB 3158 calculated that it had made an error in answering Catherine's question, and that answering her question had not in fact been the fastest way to terminate their interaction, and decided to switch off its array of audio devices instead. Such is the way with robots. But why Bart? Yelled Catherine. Meanwhile, in Shanlava Feistin Uchther, Bart was starting to think his chances of getting a drink were low. Lads, do either of ye know what happened to Cathy? He asked. He was ignored. I'm not sure if it was a good idea for us to come here, said Francie. Yes, it is maybe the case that we have not fully thought out our plan, agreed Owen. He then set out his reasons for doubt. For number one, you failed to totally transmutate the extraterrestrial known as European Space Agency Mission Commander Catherine Bishop to Shanlava Feistin Uchther, reducing our chances of obtaining the secrets of physics by exactly half. Up. Let me finish. For number two, the Gabelodians are running about the place, which is surely a sign that the thing you mentioned earlier is active. And for number three, the extraterrestrial known as European Space Agency Mission Specialist Bart McMorrow appears to be no more scared than he was on the Canclonic Expanse, which is not very scared at all. Francie was about to disagree when a high-pitched squeal from nearby caused Owen, Francie and Bart to look to the middle distance and see three of the small humanoid Gabelodians flying vertically into the air and then landing back into the mist, followed by several small bloody body parts flying vertically into the air, followed by a deep grinding noise, followed by at least some of the small round and angry looking Gabelodians hurriedly retracing their path back around Bart, Francie and Owen and off in the opposite direction. They're wasting their time, noted Francie. If the Fenonkiot has it in for them, then the ground in this place will simply dismember, swallow and grind them into dust. Lads, what did she come here for? Asked Bart. Silence, human, snapped Owen. It's your fault we're here. If you weren't so unforthcoming with your knowledge of the secrets of science, then none of this would have happened. Now, we must face the choice of being tortured and ripped asunder by the Fenonceacht in Shanlabba Uachtar, or tortured and ripped asunder by the Saltoon of Phenocius on the surface of Jupiter.
Praise be upon him, said Francie.
Yes, sorry, praise be upon him, added Owen.
Ye two are a pair of nerds. What happened to Cathy? Have you seen her?
The Saltoon of Phenocius, ha!
Echoed a voice. It seemed to come from everywhere. Francie pulled out a wand, but her hand was instantly severed by a thin slice of flint that shot out from the mist and through her wrist, after which both her hand and the rock fell into the mist.
So, the Saltoon of Phenocius, ha! So he's still hanging around on Jupiter then,
echoed the voice. The ground shook as it spoke. Bart and Owen looked at Francie's handless arm.
That looks nasty, said Bart. Don't worry, I will magic you a new one, he added.
Forget about my hand, you idiot! Just transmutate us out of here, said Francie. A long, spindly arm, roughly 8 metres in length, shot up through the mist next to Owen. It had no flesh and the bone was black, shiny, solid and sharp. The arm was hinged in the middle, and instead of a hand or claw at the end was a single sharp point. The arm bent to form a right angle at the middle, so the upper sharp end was pointing parallel to the mist at waist height. It swung round violently and sliced Owen in two. He then collapsed into the mist. That was followed by the same deep grinding noise as earlier.
Anyways, what was I saying?
Rumbled a voice from everywhere and nowhere.
Something about the Saltoon of Phenocius, suggested Bart.
Quiet,
whispered Francie.
Don't agitate the Fenonceacht. We're stuck here now.
Idiot,
rumbled the voice.
Who, me or her? Asked Bart. Because it better not have been me you were chatting to.
The hinged, bony, pointed arm shot up from the mist next to Francie, bent to 90 degrees, swung violently, and cut her in two at the waist. The upper and lower halves of her body disappeared into the mist, and was followed by yet more grinding.
Now, creature,
rumbled the voice.
You are forever trapped here.
Are you talking to me? Asked Bart. He looked round, but could see only mist, some rock mounds with skeletal trees, the strange dark swirl of clouds above, and the heads of several of the small, fat, angry-looking humanoids running about chaotically in the distance.
Yes,
rumbled the voice.
Well, then tell me this. Is it true that you have the best beer in the universe here? No,
rumbled the voice.
Ah, balls.
I should have known Owen and Francie were lying. What do you want with me?
I don't know. I suppose I just really want a bit of company. The Gabelodians you see running about are great fun to torture, but they are nasty and of no use when it comes to conversation.
Bart was feeling both irritated and fearful. He could not tell if the forever trapped comet was an accurate description of his predicament or not.
What did you mean by forever?
He asked.
Are you not upset that I killed your two companions?
Thought Bart. Well, I know I should be, but I don't know. They did lie about the beer, and it was their fault we ended up here. And there was always a bit of rivalry between our spacecraft and theirs, so no, not really, truth be told.
What did you mean by forever? Exactly that! Forever!
But why didn't you kill me?
I am the Fenonceacht, guardian of Shanlabba Uachtar. In fact, you could say I am Shanlabba Uachtar. Its rocks, its trees, its undulatory mist, its air, and the sky above. I am the embodiment of fear, violence, and torture.
Fair enough. So what do you do with yourself?
Mostly torture.
Those lads running about the place?
Yes, the Gabelodians.
And that's it?
Yes.
So do you just want to chat about something then, is it?
Yes.
Then what?
Not the Gabelodians anyway, they're nasty little things.
Right, so, do you follow the football?
What do you think?
I don't know, probably not. Did you really say forever?
Yes.
That's a long time.
It is.
It is, agreed Bart.
Indeed,
rumbled the Fenonceacht.
It's great to have some stimulating conversation for a change.
Definitely forever, asked Bart.
Yes.
Bollocks, muttered Bart. Now, at that exact moment, European Space Agency Mission Commander Catherine Bishop was also cursing, but in a milder way. Stupid machine, she yelled. I can't tell if you're ignoring me or broken. Then, for want of a better plan, she approached the robot and knocked the top of it, and felt around the large refrigerator-sized body for a switch or a panel. Then she began slapping the side of it, gently at first, but then gradually more violently, until the vibrations caused by her slapping caused all of robot FZB 315/8's audio sensors to activate. Such is the way with robots.
Cease your actions now! bleeped robot FZB3158. Why, Bart? Why do you want to kill him? And who are those two people that look like Owen and Francie? And why is there draft beer in my spacecraft? Bleep, replied robot FZB3158. What? asked Catherine. Bleep ARP, to eliminate the possibility of further delays in the transportation of spontalagers from the Forest of Proverbs to Claspam Road. The presence of life in the universe has acted as a hindrance to that activity, which is less than optimal. Bleep, continued STR FZB3158. Once all life in the universe has been eliminated, then it will be possible for me to resume transporting spontalagers to Claspam Road, which is optimal. But what just happened to Bart? And wait, what are spontalagers? Bleep, spontalagers are on-land halonticles who inhabit the Forest of Proverbs with an average weight of 0.14 rovolized cumetons. Right, well, what about Bart then? Bleep, insufficient data. I am temporarily pausing the annihilation of all living things. Now, cease your actions and return to your normal operating procedures. I will murder you in due course. You will do no such thing, snapped Cathy. She swung a wide spinning kick to the side of robot FZB3158's refrigerator-sized torso. It backed away and stumbled on its two clumsy, stumpy legs. It then clumsily righted itself and awaited a further blow for 13.89734 seconds. When it failed to receive one, it once more switched off all of its audio sensors and returned to a state of hibernation. Such is the way with robots. European Space Agency Mission Commander Catherine Bishop took stock of her situation. She was marooned in a barren rocky plain on planet Jupiter. Her three companions had just disappeared. She was standing beside a robot that had vowed to remove all living creatures from existence, and had now turned itself off. She had a single narrow shingle path to follow across the plain. One direction led to the low hills in the far distance, the other led to a picnic table, her spacecraft and a supply of porter. Neither direction was particularly appealing, but for want of something better to do, Cathy opted to head for the hills. And that was it for the late morning of the 5th day of the first human expedition to another planet. An underground army, of sorts, a malevolent and destructive Jupiterian personality cult, European Space Agency mission specialist Nancy Goodaim McGinley, a murderous, hibernating robot, European Space Agency mission specialist Bart McMurrow and the Fenunkiucht in Jupiterian purgatory, the last copy of the Booker Bongalon, and a bewildered but resigned to her fate European Space Agency mission commander named Catherine Bishop. And once again, thank you if you've tuned into that, and hopefully it'll get a bit more regular now. And again, because of the break, it's a bit ropey getting back into it, so sorry if that was a bit higgledy-piggledy. Hopefully it made some sort of sense, and the flow will hopefully start making a bit more coherent sense as it leads in towards audio drama final in this summer. So thanks again for listening, and chat to you next week. And this time it won't be 3 weeks, promise. Chat to you then. Cheers, thanks.